Hey, what's up everybody? In this video, I'm going to review Elegant Tiana from the Princess and the Frog series. Elegant Tiana does have the same drop rate as Elegant Ariel at 36.36%, but that's only if you have all of the other Tsums unlocked except this month's new Tsum. So your drop rate is likely going to be different compared to mine's, but your drop rates should be identical for Elegant Tiana and Elegant Ariel. And the ability description for Elegant Tiana is high scoring Tiana Tsums appear and clear Tsums in a cross shape. The high scoring Tianas are created after the ability time. If you look at the screen, the ones that are glowing and shiny and glimmering, those are going to be the ones that are high scoring. So let's take a look at her stats. In order for you to activate her ability, you're going to need to clear a total of 18 copies of her off the screen. So that's on the average side. It's not too high, it's not too low, so you should be able to activate a good amount of abilities per game. Minimum score is 70 with a maximum score of 1050. And when you factor in her ability and those shiny high scoring Tsums, 1050 is actually pretty good. And if you want to get her to skill level 6, you're going to need to get a total of 29 copies of her from either the premium box or using skill tickets. And 29 is on the average side, not too high, not too low. And the way her ability works is every single time you level up her ability, the skill range will increase, so that cross shape that she makes will get a little bit bigger every single time you level her up. It starts off at extra small and then at skill level 6 it becomes extra large, but it is a pretty heavy investment going from skill level 5 to skill level 6. And if you guys are enjoying this type of content where I review Tsums, do monthly leaks, go over the selection boxes and pickup capsule, please consider subscribing to this channel. Your subscription really helps me out a lot. I also have a Discord server as well, so if you're interested in joining the Discord server and to chat with other players just like yourself, consider scanning this QR code or using the links in the description below where you can access the Discord server as well as the line group. Okay, so let's take a closer look at all 6 of the skill levels starting with skill level 1, 2, and 3. So like I mentioned, the skill range will increase from extra small. In this case, because we're looking at skill level 1, 2, and 3, it's going to go up to medium size. And this is in reference to the cross shape that it's going to make during the ability time. So her ability is fairly simple. She essentially will make high scoring Tsums and then it will burst the center area making a cross shape. So there's 2 things that you need to know about her ability and those shining special Tianas that essentially are high scoring. So what you want to do is you want to try to make a really long chain connecting those special high scoring Tianas, or using the ability or even a magic bubble to burst those Tsums instead of just trying to connect small chains. Score is heavily dependent on how big your chains are or how long your chains are. The longer the chain, the more the multiplier is going to be. So if you are able to make a really long chain, and this includes any of the bursts that you make as well, the higher the score is going to be. And if you are trying to get a high score using Elegant Tiana, my recommendation to you is try to not burst those special high scoring Tianas off their screen unless you're bursting them using the ability. So avoid making small chains to clear Elegant Tiana, especially if you're going for high score. So now let's talk a little bit about the strategy that I use when I'm using Elegant Tiana. And there's actually 2 ways of playing Elegant Tiana. The first way is you want to make sure the entire screen is full of Tsums before you activate the ability. By doing this, you will get the maximum amount of chains possible, making sure that there's no gaps, because those gaps are going to subtract Tsums from your main chain. And like I mentioned earlier, the higher the chain, the more coins you're going to get, as well as the higher the score is going to be. Now the second option to playing it, this one is a little bit more tricky and you will need to have a magic bubble handy. But pretty much what you want to do is you want to burst a bubble before you activate the ability. By doing that, it's going to trigger the Tsums to fall from the coin counter as well as the score. So I'm not sure if you guys know, but once you burst a bubble, the Tsums from the top of the screen will drop right away where the score counter and the coin counter is. We just can't see it because the overlay is covering it, but there are Tsums there. But when you use that cross-shaped burst, what actually ends up happening is that it bursts that top area too, where the coin counter and the score counter is. The next thing I want to show you guys is the abilities activated at the same time. This is using the first strategy where I make sure the Tsums are all settled before activating the ability. So let's take a look at it here in slow motion. So Elegant Tiana will come out and then does this little hand gesture and turns a bunch of Tsums into high scoring Elegant Tianas. And if you look at the skill range here, it's pretty thin for skill level 1, it's just 1 line. And then skill level 2, you start to see that there's 2 rows of Tsums there. And then for skill level 3, it's almost like an X shape. So it does get bigger as you level up your Tsum. At skill level 1, I got a chain of 19. Skill level 2, I got a chain of 22. And skill level 3, I got a chain of 26. Now these numbers will change, especially if you are using the second strategy that I mentioned, where you're using a magic bubble to burst Tsums before activating the ability, because that's going to clear Tsums in the top section as well. Moving on to the higher skill level for skill level 4, 5, and 6, and the skill ranges for these three is going to be large, and extra large. The animation as well as the strategy will remain the same. So after playing Elegant Tiana for a little bit, I have found that the second strategy where you burst a bubble before activating the ability is going to be more effective. You're going to be able to earn a lot more coins and activate a lot more abilities per game. Using that strategy, it might not look perfect because there's going to be gaps during the animation of the ability, but pay close attention to where the score is and also the coin counter. You're going to notice there are going to be like some glimmer that will sparkle there when you activate the ability. That's to indicate that you're bursting Tsums in that area as well, even though you can't really see it. One way to test this for yourself is play one game where you let all the Tsums settle and then activate the ability and then count how many chains you got. Well, you don't have to count, just memorize how many chains you would get regularly, and then on the second game, play it where you burst a bubble and then activate the ability, and then just memorize how many chains you get there as well. And overall, your average should be a lot higher using the second strategy where you're bursting a bubble first. So give that a try and let me know how your experience is. Alright, so let's take a look at the abilities activated at the same time. So again, the animation will remain the same. One thing I haven't figured out though is how many Elegant Tiana gets generated. I don't know if it's the same amount or if they're completely random, but they do look different. So the special high scoring Elegant Tianas will have their eyes closed, versus the regular ones that aren't boosted is going to have her eyes open. So if you take a look at it here, this is going to be the skill range for these higher skill level. It's definitely significantly higher or bigger compared to the lower skill level. And almost at skill level 6, it's encompassing a majority of the screen. And at skill level 4, I ended up with a chain of 27. Skill level 5, I got a chain of 29. And at skill level 6, I got a chain of 31. So pretty effective at skill level 6, and for scoring, it's pretty good. So overall, I do like Elegant Tiana. She's a very easy Tsum to use comparing it to Elegant Rapunzel and Elegant Ariel. She's also pretty effective on coin earning as well. She's not as good as Elegant Rapunzel at skill level 6, but at the lower skill level, Elegant Tiana might actually be a better option than Elegant Rapunzel. So if you don't plan on getting Elegant Rapunzel to skill level 6, it might be a better option to focus on Elegant Tiana than Elegant Rapunzel. And let me show you the results that I got when I'm using Elegant Tiana. So these results are my first attempts at all of the skill level, so you could definitely get a lot more coins than I did here, and for scoring, she's still relatively low level at this point, so if you could get her to level 50, the score is definitely going to be a lot higher. So at skill level 1, I ended up with 1,317 coins with a score of 4.4 million. So not that great, definitely don't want to use 5-4 and coin boost at skill level 1. You could probably start using it at skill level 3, but you're not going to be better off at using 5-4 and coin boost versus just using it without those two things. But starting at skill level 4, you definitely should use the 5-4 and coin boost, because from my experience, I got 3,113 coins without the coin boost and got 9 million points, so not too bad there. And at skill level 5, I got low 4,000, whereas skill level 6, I got high 4,000s. And this is using the first strategy as well, but if you use the second strategy that I mentioned where you burst a bubble before activating the ability, you should be able to earn more coins as well as a higher score than these examples here. So that's my review of Elegant Tiana. I hope that you guys found this video helpful or at least entertaining. And if you would like to see more Tsum Tsum content just like this, don't forget to subscribe. And as always, thank you so much for watching.